Yeah, good morning everyone and welcome to today's class. We'll be continuing from where we stopped in the last class, which we were doing introduction to JavaScript. And today we are going to take it a little bit further into introduction to JavaScript 2. So I could not teach everything about JavaScript in the first class and I still can't teach everything about JavaScript, but I'll just pick some of the basics. I'll just pick some of the basics and which you can always use to fly and which you can use to understand other concepts better. Yeah, so in the last class, we stopped at, let's go to our JavaScript file. In the last class, we stopped at template literal, um, how you write elements without breaking your line of code and not trying to use concatenation and just use a template literal, which is one of the best way to write code which is one of the best way to write to infuse variable names into your console into if you and I also made mention of if you are making use of what's the name API. When you are calling API, you'll be making use of template literal a lot because some of the details you'll be getting from your API, you have to be infusing them into your website, and the best way to actually do it is using a template literal also. So that's one of the key benefits of template literal. So for today, we'll be going into something called um, if else statement, that is decision making in JavaScript. What is decision making in JavaScript? You are telling your browser that, okay, at this particular time, if this condition is true, you should render this. And if this condition is not true, you should render something else. And this is how you write an if else statement. If and you have an else block, so you just do this. Oh, sorry. You just do this. This is the complete if else block. So what is the condition? What is the condition we want to render? So let's do some calculation right here. Const age equals 18. Oladele Michael, what's the issue? Oh, we have age somewhere stated.
So please, can you increase your screen?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that. I will do that just now. I like to I like to write code with a very tiny screen. So is it better now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let me write drive age equals 18. So let's do something like this. Um, let's do drive age equals 18 const Jacob age Jacob Jacob age equals, let's do an arithmetic operation which is 2024. Let's do date of birth. Let's do const DOB equals 1995 1996. Then let's now do this. Okay, let's do DOB minus 2022. So let's do this. So let's do if Jacob age Jacob age greater drive age you do console.log yes Jacob can drive. Yes, sir. I didn't understand.
You said Jacob age, but you only wrote Jacob. If Jacob age,
Yeah,
you said it with your mouth, but you only wrote.
sorry. If yes, Jacob can drive. I just wrote Jacob age. So I can't write
Um,
Jacob age here because what the value of sorry, I wrote Jacob instead of
yes,
Jacob
yes.
age. Yeah, sorry about that. So Jacob can drive. Else Jacob console.log. No, Jacob can't drive. So this is basically what we use conditional rendering for in JavaScript. So let's save it. Damilola, go ahead.
Just like a question. I don't know
Okay.
when you stated the condition for the if,
Yeah.
that if Jacob is greater than, if you execute Jacob can drive. So I was not thinking that, or else, where the else too we have a condition.
No, the else is that if that condition is not met, you can just go to the else block. So there are some times you would need multiple conditions. Like I'm going to do that, but let's just do this first of all. So
Okay.
let's check this. Let's check what we have right here. So console, you can see Jacob age is less than 18. Let's see, is it less than 18? Let's see, let's console.log Jacob age. Console.log Jacob age. How old is Jacob actually? Oh, Jacob is minus 26. So Jacob can't actually drive. That means Jacob is actually lesser than 18. So that's what this condition is actually saying, that okay, if Jacob is 18 years and above, let him be able to drive. And if Jacob is less than 18, he can't drive. So that is what we wrote. You can see we did an arithmetic operation here. That means we are putting a smaller number in front of a bigger number. So it's going to give us a minus. We do that in the normal mathematical operation we did, but what we are supposed to do here is actually that we put the bigger number in front, minus DOB. So let's check this out. Yeah, you can see Jacob is 26 years old and he can drive. Yeah, Adelaja, what's your question?
Sir, there was the name for this if and else. You call something, you
Is
set
this
something conditional.
the normal way we call it in JavaScript is if-else statement, or we just say conditional rendering. We call it conditional rendering or controlled structure. That's what it means in JavaScript. We can either say it's a control structure. That means you're telling your code, okay, I want you to execute this function based on some normal principles. I also want you to do some things if this condition is not met. It can be interchanged, conditional rendering, control structure, or if else statement. You hear people hear it saying conditional rendering, or if else statement. The popular one is based on the way the name is called, is an if else statement. Do you understand, Adilaja?
Yes, sir. Copy that, sir.
Okay. So now we are now going to write another this thing here. We are going to write another condition here. Condition const driver's license equals no. So we have a condition here that okay, if Jacob age is 2020 is above 18, we now also have another condition here, which is going to be something like this. Else if else if sorry, I mean else if okay, Jacob Jacob as Jacob Jacob drive license equals. So what I'm actually doing here is there's something called strict operation and what's the name? Strict equality and loose equality. What is strict equality? Strict equality is that strict equality does not do type coercion. What type coercion means is that type coercion says that um, type coercion says that it won't convert a number into a string, something like this. Let me do that before I do this. So we do something like this. Const let me just do random equals 1 plus 1. So who can tell me the result of this? Who can tell me the result of this? Can anyone see the result of this?
Is 1.
No, 1 plus 1.
1 plus 1. 1 plus 1. Someone is saying 11. Someone is saying 1. What's going to be the number?
But that the second one is not a number, it's like a string now, Abi.
Yes.
Okay. Let's check the results. Ezekiel, yeah, your hand is raised. Go ahead. Ezekiel, go ahead. Your hand is raised. Okay, you said 11, so let's check it. That's on line 69. No, cannot. 67. Where are we having a error? Oh, no. False. So let's save that. It's just so we can see it's telling us that we have is 11. Reason mean that a number and a string cannot be added together. A number and a string cannot be added together. So what type conversion does is that it manually converts one string from one to another. So that's what type conversion does. So once is a plus, once there's a plus sign there, it does type conversion. So it doesn't convert it to a number directly. That is what we have here. So it's just instead of 1 plus 1, which is the normal way we know it as 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2. But based on JavaScript is saying that that number, that element is actually, once you use a quote, it sees that it's a string. So you just join both numbers together. It doesn't do anything like type conversion. It just does type conversion directly, and it gives you that okay, just add the both numbers together. That is 1 plus 1. One number plus one string. That is 11. Do you understand the difference between type coercion and type conversion? You understand? Oh, sorry, I said type coercion and type conversion. String, type, strict operator and equality operator. So let's do this. So let's see. Paul, go ahead. Just confused.
Okay, I don't know. You did a cons random equals 1 plus a string 1. That
Yeah.
number that showed up is not 11 but 1 and 1, Abi.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean when you console log random at the first
Yeah,
one
it's
that
not 11. No, it's not 11. It's 1 and 1, not 11. It's
okay,
not
that's what I want to confirm.
It's not 11. It's 1 and 1, saying that you can't add a number and a string together. The only way we can do this is if we do something like this. We convert this to a number. We convert this to a number, and yes, this is going to work. So you can see we have it on line 71. We converted a string back to a number, and it gave us the normal addition, which is 2. So That is what we have right here. So this is let's now do type coercion and type conversion. The strict operator. So const random equals that, and const string equals Jacob. So let's do this. Console.log random equals string. So what should be the result of this? False. You can see now that when we did a type a strict operator, what did it give us? It's telling us that no. That's line 72, right? Yeah. It's telling us that a random number and a string, they are not actually the same thing. What a strict equality does is just true or false. But let's use a loose equality, which is this, and let's see the result it's going to give to us. It also gives us false because a number and a number can't be a number and a string can't be added together. Oh, sorry, my terminal is opened. So a number and a string can be added together. But let's do this. 1 plus 1. Let's do this. 7. String 7. Let's see what it's going to give us using loose operator. A loose operator. So why is it giving us 2? It's giving us false. It's giving us false actually because a number and a string can't be together. So let's equal this. It's also going to give us a false. It's also going to give us a false right here. And Damla, what's the issue? Go ahead, please. But if we do
I just
this,
want to ask, what was when you did that 3 equal sign, what name did you call it? When you did that 2 equal
a
sign, what name
strict
did you call it?
equality.
Like
I
what
call it a strict equality.
the 3 have you?
Yeah, the 3 is called strict equality. And
The 2 is what?
Loose equality. Is actually best you actually do it. It's actually best you actually do it like that. You use strict equality most of the time to avoid unnecessary minor bugs, like the way we did, like minor bug, like okay, you trying to convert a number to a string and it's actually working, but it's not supposed to work. The way we did this random, random, which we had 1 plus string 1. The result is supposed to be 2, but it's giving us 11, which is a wrong result. So when you are trying to do a strict equality, you are going to it's going to give you a false instead of a true. What this equality sign does is it gives you either a true or a false. Do you understand, Damlola?
Yes, I understand. Like if you turn that equal to 3, it's going to give us a false because they are not meant to be
Yeah, they are
together.
not. They are not the same data type. A number and a string can't be together. Actually, it's either a number and a number, which will give you a good arithmetic operation. So you can't add a number and a string together. That's going to give you false. But if you add a number and a number together, they are going to give you true. That's it. Damblala,
Thank
your
you,
hand
sir.
is okay. Paul, your hand is raised rather. Paul, your hand is raised. Okay. Afolabi, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. I was going to ask this equal sign, like, is it an operator?
It when you are assigning a variable, normally you use a single equal to, which is random equals 1 plus 1. So there are now
Yes, that's what I mean.
two different kind of operators: strict equality and loose equality. When you are using a loose equality, it gives you have to use just 2 equal to. That means you do this. You
That's
do
loose.
Yeah, that is loose. By the time you make it
Okay.
3, it has to be strict. That means with loose equality, it's going to do something called type conversion behind the scene, which is going to
Okay.
convert the string to a number if you are doing an addition. But for strict equality, it's not going to convert the number at all.
So it just give false as an
Give you
answer.
false. That is it. So
Okay.
what both of them
Okay,
does is
sorry,
just,
sir. What about
yeah,
the one that has like
a
if you
question
have
mark,
equal sign, like is
something
it
like
question mark or like a slash on it?
exclamation mark
No, a slash on the equal sign.
on the equal sign.
Yes.
That's not a JavaScript. That's a JavaScript operation,
Okay.
but it's a JavaScript operation for something, but I can't remember what it's for. We don't use it. You don't use it regularly. What you use is something like this. I can't remember what you.
Exclamation.
Yeah, what exclamation does is not a number, something like that. They're telling that if this thing is not true, return this value. Not true. That is what the exclamation mark stands for. Let's check MDN documentation.
Okay,
Let's
sir.
check.
So if you do like an exclamation like this, will you have like an undefined answer or something that it's not
Well,
good?
you might probably have an. Let's check what we have right there.
All right.
So this MDN documentation, and let's see, we have a false, which is this. So we have a false right here. So it basically means true or false. Okay, not true. So thank you, George, for that on the chat box. So let's check MDN documentation and let's see. Let's just search for strict um that's equal. Okay, strict equality. So you can just see that right here. You can see there's a strict equality which says console.log 1 plus 1 equals. But if you do something like this, you can see the strict equality right here. We are doing 1 plus 1, it's going to give us true. If you are doing LO plus LO, it's going to give us true. And if you are doing a string plus a number, it's going to give us false. A number and a boolean is going to give us false. So if the two data type you are trying to compare are not the same thing, they are
Okay.
going to give you a false. But if they are two the same data type, it's going to give you a true.
True. Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
that's the simple logic behind the strict equality and the loose
It's clear.
equality.
Okay, sir,
Yeah.
sorry. Like I need to know, like, are we doing all the operators? You know, we started with addition, subtraction, and division. I think that last class. So
Yeah, we
now
did.
we are into
The
okay.
thing there is that I'm you on some occasions you would need to have idea of them. You might not be using them every time, but just for you to have idea of it.
Idea of what it is. Okay.
Yes, idea of it. This is just a introduction to the fundamentals. What does the
Mm.
fundamentals do? Everything you need to know about JavaScript. There are still some advanced concepts, but these are the fundamentals of JavaScript, whereby it's something in your code when you're writing, when you're trying to build a real world application. Everything are going to be infused. You are going to use everything in one way or the other. It might not come directly like this. It might come in
All right.
another direction. So that's just it.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so let's continue. So you can actually see that this is the loose equality. This is just the equality sign. Where you are doing 1 plus 1 equals true, but at this point where they did a string plus a number, you can see it's actually giving them true, which is not supposed to be true. It's actually giving them true, which is not supposed to be true. That is one of the things, the strict equality. Excuse me. That's one of the things the strict equality makes you avoid. If you were to write, if you were probably now, okay, our bank application, there's a string, they're adding a string and a number together, and it gives you 11. Instead of, if you are doing 1 plus 1, and it gives you 11 instead of 2, you will know that that's a bug. You might not know that that is where it's coming from because you're looking at, I did a right, mathematical operation. So why is it giving me true? Why is it giving me 11 instead of a true? So that is what the strict equality is going to make you avoid when you are using it. So let's continue. So we are actually, yeah, you probably understand it when we start using what's the name? When we start writing applications that we start seeing the results on the browser, you will see that you understand what you understand it better. That's DOM manipulation. By the time you start doing DOM manipulation, you will see how JavaScript works with the browser and how you can infuse all this in your JavaScript using the browser. So now we can see that if by the next class we'll get to DOM manipulation. That's document object model, something like that. Yeah, that's the name. So I said right here that if driver's license equals true, you just say console.log yes Jacob can drive. So can drive. So at this point, you are telling your browser that you are telling your application that this it has to meet these two conditions before Jacob can be able to drive. So let's check what we have. You can see yes, Jacob can drive on line 76. No. Okay, no, we can't do it right here. And we have to do it right here. And driver's license equals true equals yes. Where is driver's license? Driver's license equals true. No, think. Yeah, that's JavaScript. That's JavaScript documentation. That's JavaScript documentation for. You can also see it for HTML, CSS. If you go to the MDN documentation, it's also for if you go to MDN, you see for HTML, CSS for all programming language. That is what what's the name? That's what the MDN documentation does. It has documentation for everything. So let's kind of test these two operations right here. Driver's license equals true RUE. So let's close this one on this line and let's see if Jacob can drive or not. So you can see that here we're actually testing two operations that okay. Jacob age is higher than 18, which is true, but Jacob does not have a driver's license. So that means Jacob can't drive. So if we change this to true, and let's see what we have, true rather, and let's see what we have, you will see that it will tell us yes, Jacob can actually drive. So Damilola, go ahead. What this before you go ahead, Damilola, wait. What this conditional statement means that if you have a particular condition, if one condition is not met, the other conditions should be met actually. So that is what it does. So it's just for you writing a condition for your application to meet, and if it doesn't meet the application, then the application is going to fail. Damilola, your hand was raised. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to I think I've come across these and I I've come across the ones I don't know when. But
Okay.
I don't know if you can explain this and.
What and means is that this first condition, this Jacob greater than drive age and driver's license, both of them have to be true. If one of them is false, both of them have to be true before it can meet a truthy value. There's a block called truthy value. That is the truthy and the falsy value. what the true and the false value means is that once all the conditions for the true has to be true, that means if A and B, they have to be true before they can give you a right answer. If one is false, it's going to be a false. That means the answer can't be true. That means you are telling us that, okay, before this statement can run properly, before we can get yes, Jacob can drive, it means that Jacob must be above 18, and also he must also have a driver's license. That's if you're in Nigeria, you know that you have to be above 18, and you also have to have a driver's license before you can officially drive. I know some of us don't have a driver's license, and some of us are not up to 18, and yet we can drive. But according to the law, Paul, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, wow.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
So for the truthy value, for the and, it has to be yes, both conditions are met. And there's something called or. So this or means that just one of the condition has to be met before it can be true. So, excuse me. So the first one is, let's check. If any one of the conditions are met, that means it's going to be true. So this is what we have right here. We have that Jacob age is greater than 18, or he has his driver's license, equals to. So if Jacob is greater than 18 and he does not have a driver's license, that means Jacob can still drive. Let's check it out. So you can see Jacob can still drive. But let's do something here now. Let's make this one to be true and the age to be less than 18. Let's make this to be true and the age to be less than 18. Let's give this one to be 2024. No, let's give it 2022. So let's see the age. So you can see that Jacob age is actually probably 0 age, but the same month. Let's give it 2020. So we know that this is 2 years old. So let's see if Jacob can drive or not. But Jacob has a driver's license, but Jacob is not up to 18 years old. So you can see that because Jacob has a driver's license and he is less than 18 years old, one of those conditions are met. That is why Jacob can drive. But if we are using an AND operator, this operator, which is this, if you are using this, that means both of the conditions must be met before Jacob can drive. Damilola, do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right. So, do you understand the if-else statement, or I should go over it again? Is there any confusion with the if-else statement?
Please go over it again a bit.
Who is that?
Two ones.
Adelaja, sorry, sir.
All right, that's fine. So an if-else statement simply means that you have to meet one particular condition before that particular element, before you console anything. So let's use another example. We know the pass mark in our schools is 75. For you to have an A, 75. Let's do pass mark const pass mark equals, pass mark is actually 40. That's the D actually. So that is there a D on it or E? I think it's E. So we have pass mark equals 40. Student score const student score equals 32. So now let's do an if-else statement here. Let's do if student score if student score greater or equals pass mark, we do some we console log student pass. Yeah, let's do console.log you passed the course. And we have something right here saying else. No, we have this saying
can you scroll
else.
up a little bit? Sorry, sir. Can you scroll up?
Okay, so you have an else here saying console.log you failed the course. So let's see. The condition we are actually passing here for an if-else statement is that if the student score is greater or equals to pass mark, which is 40, we should console.log that yes, you pass the course. And if it does not meet 40, that means the student failed the course. So let's see what the result of this our simple decision making statement is going to give. So it's saying that okay, because the student score is less than 40, that means yes, the student failed the course actually. So let's now give the student something like 75. Let's give the student here 75. And let's see. You can see the student passed the course because the student score is greater than 40, which is actually a pass mark for the course. Yeah, Dambela, go ahead.
I just want to ask, as in relating to what you taught us the last time, can we actually, that const you used there did not allow us to manipulate the mark of the student. Instead of us going to change the score of the student in that const, because when we use let, can we just manipulate the student mark to just be probably the mark and still get?
Yes, we can actually manipulate the student course like this. Okay, let's do this. You can see that the student score is constant. Let's use a let here. Let's do a let here. So let student score equals 30. Why do you want to manipulate the student score?
Just trying to relate back to what you taught us yesterday.
Okay, we have 30. Okay, let's have 35 here, and let's see what is going to run. And let's see what's going to run right here. So let's see what's going to be this. You can see we have you failed the course. But if you now reassign this, if you reassign student score equals 75, can see you pass the course instead of trying to manipulate the initial data. That means the first time the student wrote the exam, the student had 35. So the next time the student wrote the exam, that means he had to do a receipt. He has 75%. That means the student has passed the course already. So do you understand the if-else statement properly, Damilola?
I do. Thank you, boss.
Yeah. So another short form of writing if-else statement is actually something called ternary operator. What's the ternary operator? It's just you writing an if-else statement instead of us having to write this long line of code. Instead of you trying to write this long line of code, trying to write if-else state this, what you are just going to do is you just write everything on a single line. Let me do something right here called if-else statement. Let me write a if/else statement, and this is conditional ternary operator. Ternary operator. The ternary operator is just a short form of an if-else statement actually. So what is a ternary operator? A ternary operator allows you to write something similar to an if-else statement just in one line, And let's do this. So let's do const Damilola's age. What am I having capital letter? Const Dami's age. I don't know if Dami is up to 18, but let's write 23. I don't know Dami's age, so I'm just guessing. It's just guesswork. So we now also have this. We now also have drink. Let's do drink. Let's do Dami's age. Dami's age greater equals 18. We do this. Dami can drink. Sorry. Dami can drink wine. Else, Dami can only drink. Dami can only drink water. So this is it. What I'm saying here is that if Dami's age is greater or equals to 18, Dami can drink wine. But if Dami's age is less than 18, Dami can only drink water. So let's check the result we have here. Oh, I'm not console logging it actually. So let's do this. Console.log. No, let's do a const. Let's assign it to equals console.wine. So let's check this out. Console.log wine. So let's see the result of what we have. So you can see Dami can drink wine simply because Dami's age is greater than 18. Do you understand conditional rendering and if-else statement? Is there a confusion with both of them? Is there a condition with both of them? Is there a confusion with both of them?
Sir. No, sir. I don't have confusion on this.
Okay, so it's just similar. It's just actually similar to an if-else statement. Instead of you writing a long if-else statement, you just use a conditional rendering and I say conditional rendering, a ternary operator, and yes, you are good to go with that. You can see everything we need to write. All these if-else statement we need to write in like 3 lines of code. 1, 2. We just wrote everything in one single line, and we are done. Yeah. So Francisca, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. It's because I heard conditional rendering. That's why I raised my hand. It's not
the same thing.
right?
Yeah.
You said it's not conditional rendering, it's ternary operation. The second part.
They can be used interchangeably. You can either call it conditional operators, ternary operators. Like I said, if-else statement. You can call it if-else statement, conditional rendering, and decision making. So they are actually different. They mean the same thing, but just different. But just different names. You can use the names interchangeably.
Okay. All right, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So ID, go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Is it possible for you to show me how I can write an else if with ternary operation, please? Thank you.
Okay. An else if with ternary operator. That means Dami can drink wine. So what is the other condition you want to give it before you can write an else if statement? What was the question again? ID, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can. I said whether you could show me how I can also write an else if in ternary operation. So I could say he can drink wine, then a situation where he can also drink maybe wine and water, something like that, or juice, anyone. Thank you.
Let me see. Okay, if Dami's age. Okay, I think this is it. Dami coming. I've not done. Okay. Dummy. No, it's not like this. So, George, can you help me out? I can't remember at this point. George.
Yeah, try putting another condition. I think the middle one will now become the else if, and then the last one will be false.
Okay, this part is going to be a question mark, right?
No. It's just put the normal ternary.
Okay.
Then, so it's going to be, then console log it, let's see. My memory serves me right. That should be correct.
Yeah, I'm trying to just remember that at this point. So, what's going on? Why is it giving me an error here? So, okay, so let's check it out. Dami can drink wine. That is only what is console login. ID. Sorry, I can't remember at this point, but I'll definitely get back to you on this. I can't remember this at this point. I know there should be an attachment.
I thought we are meant to maybe give it like a condition. Because if you look at it, there's actually no condition.
Yeah, you can see that.
Like meeting another question.
Let's see. Let's see.
I thought maybe we would have created maybe another constant to create maybe like beautiful thing within a condition so that it can trigger a second or third one. I don't know if you're getting me or something.
Yeah, I get your this thing that okay, if the first condition is met, the second if the first condition is not met, the second condition should be met. I understand it, but I can't wrap my head at this point on how to write it. It's actually a straight line. It's a ternary operator. It's actually a straight ternary operator, but I can't wrap my head around it.
I think you have to give it another condition. So it's more of condition than the value, then the condition then the value.
That is.
You understand?
So
the condition that we had there, then you give it a value, which is the true and false, and the condition and then the value. I think that's how it's done.
I'm coming.
But it's easier to do it with.
It's easier to do with if-else statement, but I can't remember at this point this. But along the line, before the end of the class, I'm sure I'm definitely going to remember, and I'll get back to that ID. Before the end of the class, I'll definitely come back to that. I will definitely remember. But let's don't dwell on that.
What's your name? Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So let's now move to functions. I think we all understand if-else statement. So one of the building block of JavaScript is actually called a function. So when you are, for every JavaScript application you are going to be building, you would actually be using function to build each and every one of them. So function like, okay, you want to carry out an operation. So let me just write a simple function for you. There are two different ways of writing a function, which is, Afolabi, your hand is raised. Go ahead.
So sorry, sir. I'm trying to take you back a bit. This ternary operator, like I'm seeing question mark. Is that the sign for the ternary?
Yes, that's the sign for the ternary operator. Yeah.
Okay, what about this
statement? Okay, now this is if. What this question mark means is that, you know, when you're writing an if-else statement, it means that if the condition is true, look at this place here now. We wrote that if the student score greater or equals pass mark, console.log, you pass the course. Else, you fail the course. What we are writing here is that if Dami's age greater or equals 18, Dami can drink wine. Else, Dami can only drink water. So we are telling you that, okay, if this condition here is true, Dami can drink wine. If not, Dami can only, let's reduce this age to 10. Let's reduce this 8 to 10 and see what we have. You can see here we're saying that dummy can only drink water.
Okay. So I have to input that question mark. If I don't put it, the code will not. It will not run.
Yeah. So let's. I think
I'm also seeing the column.
The column means else. That's what the column means. It means else. That is the else block.
Okay.
That is the else block. So, George, I saw what you sent. So let's try that out. Const. Let's try with the damage drink.
Sorry, sir, can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead and speak.
Okay, so I was just thinking on that stuff. Since that line 98 says console wine dummies age greater or equals to 18. If dummies can drink, if dummy can drink wine, why not put the and can drink water? Would it work?
Let's try that.
No, like remove that can only drink water.
Can only drink water. No,
Like
you know, at this point here, we are actually running. We want to test for two. We want to test
like,
for two.
He said what he wants in his output is can drink wine and also drink water, right?
Yes.
Remove that column and put and can also drink water. So it will display can drink wine and that can also drink water.
Yes, that is the else block. What if none of the condition? What if none of the condition is met? What if none of the condition is met?
Okay, if dummy age is greater than 18 or equals to 18, dummy can drink wine and dummy can drink water. So change that column to and. Won't it work out?
Okay, like this.
Yes, and then remove the other and. Sorry, let me mute myself.
Dummy can only drink water and wine. Then drink water.
I think that and is meant to give a true or false statement. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to give a true or false. So you can see drink water. The reason why this doesn't pass is because Dammy's age is less than 10. Okay, yeah, I think we got it. So let's increase it back to 23 and let's see the result it's going to give us. So, yeah, we have done it already. ID, can you see? ID, can you see? So now we have given.
Let me have a look at the code.
So this is it. Let me reduce this. So dummy is 23. Dummy's age greater or equals 18. Dummy can drink water, and dummy can also drink water and wine. If not, dummy can only drink water. So let's reduce this to 13. Let's reduce this to 13 and see. You can see is that dummy can only drink water. Can you see?
Well, I think that's basically, it's almost like the first one. What I was thinking, was if we had like a condition, we are looking at two conditions, like driving a car. There's an age for driving the car. There's an age for drinking. I think the first condition could be if the age and the age for drinking and the age for driving is okay, then yes, he can drive and drink. Else, if either of the condition is true, then that one goes for it. Then the last one, which will be else, that he doesn't qualify for any of them. Something like that. But I don't know. I think maybe I'll have a look and see later on.
No, I'll definitely get back to you on that. Let's don't spend too much time. Let's not spend too much time on this. We need to run. So by the next class, before the end of the class, I'll definitely tell you about that. So please, it's off my head at this point, but it is what it is. So let's do functions in JavaScript. Functions are building block of every JavaScript application. You have to write a simple function and you can reuse them over and over again. And what is a function? A function is just as this. Function, it has to be in small letter. Function, there's always have to be a return statement. So console.log, there has to be a space. Console.log, there has to be a function name. I don't use this kind of function most of the time. What I use is called an arrow function. I use an arrow function most of the time. So I'll also show you through arrow function actually. So this is.
Can you scroll?
Yeah, I'm going to scroll. So this is it. Hello. So here we are actually invoking the function. So this is it. You can see if we don't invoke the function right here, it's actually not going to work because there's no way we are telling our application that, okay, run this function. So once we have done this, once you have written a function, you just have to come outside and call the function, which is how you call or invoke a function in JavaScript. So do you understand how to write a function? Hilary.
Please, can you come over the function again? I can't comprehend it.
Yeah, I said that a function is the building block of every JavaScript application. That means for a function, you want to write a function now. You have to read. Okay, let's do. You want to write a function at this point, and what the function is going to do. Let's say, for example, you are writing a function to cut a fruit. Now, okay, you wrote this greeting function. Now, let's do this greeting function. Greeting. So this is a function that you are writing. Hello, and let's put a name inside here. Let's put a name right here. And what are we going to do? We are going to pass it. We are going to use a ternary operator. Josephine, why are you writing on my screen? So we are going to write hello. Let's write the person's name. So yeah. So now we want to call this function. So what do? We have written we have to write greeting. So let's see our result of this function. So you can see hello undefined. So now let's write hello Hilary. So now a function is something that you reuse all over and over and over in your code. Why am I'm supposed to pass this as a parameter into this now? So why is this not going?
No, use string. Put it as a string.
Yeah, so that's true. Sorry, my slip of the hand. So let's check this out. So you can see hello Hilary. So that is what we have done with this function. We don't want to write it like, okay, hello const, hello, then we now want to write hello and your name. So the next thing we are just doing is we are just passing it straight, and we can always reuse this function multiple times. So let's try this. Let's say hello Francisca. Am I getting the spelling correctly? Francisca. Hello, Adelaja. Hello, Afolabi. So let's check this out. You can see we just wrote one function and we called it multiple times. So you can see we just have one one greeting function and we can call it multiple times. That is what JavaScript function does. Function in JavaScript are something that you call, you create the function once and you can reuse it multiple times across your code. Adelaja, your hand is raised.
Yes, sir. Please. Inside this, after the console.log, there's another bracket that with a string and hello $ name. What does this inside this bracket? What is the function?
Yeah.
After the console.log, this bracket that is open, it said he opened the string and it said hello $, then open curly brace, then name. What does this particular?
Adelaja, have you been following? When we do a console.log, what is the next thing we do? Check on line 10, on line 100. What did we do? After we
Yes,
did the
I know. I'm just
yeah.
talking about this string inside the bracket in front of the this $ and the name.
Yes, okay. Now this is what we are doing here. We want to pass. Okay, we are trying to greet someone, and we don't want to keep writing hello, hello this person, hello Francisca. We don't want to write hello then greeting and multiple names. So what we just did was we did a template literal here, which is the backtick, which is something I told you about on line 61, which you did in the previous class.
Yes.
And we now pass in the variable name, which is this. This is the name. You can this is the parameter. In function, we call it a parameter. We pass in a parameter of name. And by the time we are calling the function on line 108, we are passing the person's name we are trying to greet. So what we are just doing here is that we are calling the person's name just one. We are calling the greeting functions multiple times, but we created the function just once. Do you understand?
Yes, I do now.
We created the function just once, but we are calling it multiple times so that we can reuse it over and over in the code. So yeah, so let's do something. Let's do like an arithmetic operation with a function. So let's see. Hilary, your hand is raised.
Yes, sir. That return, I don't get it. The return.
Okay. For every function in JavaScript, you have to return something. What is going to be the result of your function? That is what the return is going to do. Now, you write a function, you have to return a statement. You have to return anything. You have to return the value of what that your function is going to do. So by the time you call the function, you can see this console.log we write here. Hello, let me say hello. Let's put another parameter here. Greeting name, greeter. Let's use greeter. So let's use greeter. So let's pass hello. My name is let's pass this. So let's come here. We are now going to pass another function into this, and we do hello. My name is Benjamin. So let's see. So you can see you are telling this person on this line. You can see here that what we want to return from our function is we are greeting this person and want to tell the person our name. So you're saying you go to a party now. Next thing you're saying, oh, you meet someone on the party floor. You're like, hello. You don't know, you know the person's name. Hello, George. My name is so and so. Probably the person's name. There's a tag on the person's chest, and you have seen the person's name, and you're like, hello. My name is so and so. That is what your function is going to return. After you have called the function, what you want your function to return, the response you want your function to return to the person, that is what the return statement is going to do. Do you understand, Hilary?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Are you sure, or you are still confused?
So I just know that we'll catch it like if you're doing more stuff. I actually don't understand it fully, but
Okay.
let's
Wait. What a function does is a function is supposed to perform an action. And when you perform an action, are you not supposed to get a result?
yes, I'm supposed.
You're supposed to get a result. So the result of what you are going to get is what this return statement is going to do for you. So now, if we just do this, if we do hello world greeting and we just do this, I don't know if it's going to work, but let's check it out. It's actually working because we are calling the function. But it's always a standard practice. It's always a standard practice that every function have to have this return statement, this return keyword. The function have to have this return keyword, telling your function that okay, when you have performed this whole action, return this statement for me. That is what it means actually. So instead of do you understand? Do you understand, Hilary? The
Yes,
result of
yes, I
what your
understand.
function the result of what your function is performing is what is carried in your return keyword actually. So I don't know if there's a better way I can understand. I can
Yeah, I
explain
understand.
that.
I understand. I understand.
All right. So Francisca, go ahead.
So without that template literals, if I just use only name there in brackets, will you call those names out?
It's not going to call the name out. You just do this. You just do something like this. Is this what you are saying?
No, just remove that my name is Greta. Just put the name in brackets. Yes, the name in brackets.
Just the name like this.
Yes, remove that backward apostrophe and just put the name in.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
going to
something.
call it. You're actually calling the person's name.
Will it bring all of them?
Yeah, it's going to bring the person's name, which is Hilary, Francisca, Afolabi. These are all the names of the people there.
So what special thing does the template do then?
Okay,
We
you
can
can see
still
I'm adding a text in front of it. You can see I added a text in front of it, which is hello. You can see I added a text in front of it, which is hello, and the name. So I want to write multiple states. If I'm to write it normally, if I'm to just write this with just the normal string that we have, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to do a plus this. I'm going to do. I have to write a plus multiple times. I have to write a plus multiple times. I'm coming. Just this. We do a plus again. My name is. We do this. I'm coming. We have to do this. My name is, and we come right here again. And which one is much easier to write? Which one is much easier to write? Okay, let's put a plus here also. Which one is more easier to write between the template literal and using the normal string elements that we have? Let's check it out. You can see hello, Hilary, Nan. Why is there a Nan? My name is, oh, there should be a space here. Should be a space here. Come in. So let's check it. My name is Hilary. Hello, Hilary. My name is, why am I having O here? I didn't put any O there. So my name is Benjamin. That is what we have right here. So it is much easier to use a template literal than you using the quotation. That is what all this plus and all this you can see we don't have a zero right here. We don't have a zero here, but in our code, it's actually giving us a zero. You can see it's actually giving us a zero, which is not something we added in our code. And to save us those minor errors, it's much better that we use a template literal over a template literal is used over and over again than using the quotation and that. Do you understand, Francisca?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You are trying to call these parameters inside your console. That is why, and I made mention that you will use it most of the time when you are making API calls, because your data is coming from an external source, and you're not saving the data anywhere in your code. You're just getting data from your API and you're putting it directly into your code. So how are you going to do that? You have to use a template literal. You have to use a template literal to pass the result of that particular of what you are getting from your API into your code. You have to pass it directly using a template literal. That you have to use the dollar sign and the curly braces. You understand, Francisca?
Yes, sir. Very well, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Paul, your hand is raised.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I don't know. Like I did exactly what you're doing on your screen, but mine is not responding. Like I don't get.
How is it not
I don't know
responding?
what. I don't know, but it's exactly what you are doing.
Can you
So I've
copy?
been.
Wait. Can you copy your code, the code you wrote, and paste it in the chat box? Let me pick it from there and see the error.
Okay. I will snap it because actually I will snap it and send to the chatbot.
Okay, just snap it and send to the chat box. Let me see. So I will tell you where your error is coming from. Yeah, Hilary, hand is still raised.
Yes, sir. Sir, I used to this WhatsApp my name is I do the code like is this JavaScript that is that code 20% stuff do you get what I'm saying? Is that JavaScript?
20% stuff. Where?
Like 20 if for this WhatsApp message like my name is I don't know if
Oh,
you've come
yeah.
across it.
It's more like, okay, when you are trying to all those chat bots, right?
Yes, I learned how to do that stuff then. So it's 20%, then put the name, 20% name, 20% is 20% space, 20%. So those 20%.
You are trying to pass a prompt. Is more like a prompt action. That's a chat box prompt action. Yeah, you can do it with
Okay.
JavaScript actually. You can do it with JavaScript actually. So it's still the same thing. But one of JavaScript, I don't know the language JavaScript is using to write theirs, but you can actually do it with JavaScript actually. So I was saying we want to do a mathematical operation with our function right here. So we have something like this. Let's do. Okay, I said before that I said I was going to teach you how two ways of writing a function, which is the normal function call, which is this, and there's also something called arrow function. This is how you do an arrow function. Const what will I call it? Goodbye. Goodbye. Let me use the camel case I like to use. Goodbye. This, and what makes it an arrow function is just this arrow in front of it, and you do your return statement, and you do your return, and it's still the same thing, console.log, and the parameter you want to pass, let's pass it here. Let's use Abraham. No, let's use name rather. Name. Let's now pass results right here. We're now saying goodbye name, comma, enjoy your weekend. So now let's now call the function goodbye, and we pass the name. We pass Abraham. So let's save this and check and see what we have. So you can see that an arrow function and the normal function are actually the same thing. What just makes it different is just that you need to have like an arrow sign. Let me put this like a normal function call. Normal function call. And the other one is called an arrow function. Yeah, so this is an arrow function. No, I'm not writing a test. So let's write this, and this is arrow function. So that is just, do you not understand the difference between a normal function and an arrow function? Or do I need to go over that again? Hello? Bolatife, go ahead. Bolatife, go ahead. Your hand is raised. Bolatife.
Oh, hello, sir. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, I said I didn't quite get what you said about this arrow function. Can you go back again?
Okay, I said that an arrow function is Paul, you're not, wait, I'm coming. Sorry, let me quickly respond to Paul. But why is it not working? Why is this not working? It's the same thing we actually wrote right here. Why is it not working, Paul? I'm coming, I'll get
Check the backticks. The backticks are wrong.
Oh, let me see.
Return console.log hello. Check the one in the name.
The one in the name. No, it's actually correct, actually. Is it correct? Paul just said your backtick is actually wrong. No, I don't think so.
The code is correct.
The code is actually correct.
Can you put it back? Let me see what he's showing. Put it back again.
Okay. Function.
Greetings.
I think he used a quotation mark. It shouldn't be a quotation mark. I think there's a particular character that he's meant to use. That console log, then there's a special character you're meant to use and place your hello in between it.
It's the same thing.
So I think that's where its error is coming from.
It's actually doing the same thing. Console.log hello. Oh. Oh, it's actually the same thing you're doing, and I don't know why this is not showing. So
usually when those kind of things happen on VS Code, you can just go back, close back, and then go back in again. Maybe close your VS Code and then go back.
Paul, did you hear? Just close your VS Code and open it again.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Badamosi, you said you said something like no. I don't understand what you mean. Miriam, can you speak? I don't understand what you mean by. Do you understand the difference between the normal?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you asked if we should explain, and I said no.
Okay, all right. So that's the normal function call and an arrow function. And for me, based on personal preference, I use arrow function most of the time. I don't like calling this function keyword. I just use an arrow function over and over again, and I'm good to go. So I said we wanted to do an arithmetic operation, right? Which is this, which is const. Actually, want to do this const juice. Let's just say. Sorry, something else. I can't think of something off my head. Francisca, go ahead. Your hand is raised.
Okay, so the difference I can see from the normal function and arrow function is just the sign, equal to and equal to arrow.
Can you see that on line 6, on line 106, I am calling this function. I'm calling this function keyword. But on line 117, I'm not calling any function. I'm just calling it like a variable, the way we assign a variable.
Okay.
Yeah,
and it has an for the name.
Yeah.
And equal greater than.
What did you say?
There's an equal to sign before the name.
Yeah, there's equal on the right and on the left. So you don't actually need the equal to. in when you're making a function, when you're naming a normal function call. But when you're doing it, when you're calling an arrow function, you need the equal to on the right and on the left. The equal to is you assigning the variable. You know when we want to assign a variable, we do something like this. Const friends, we do something like this. So we do equal and you write the person name. So that is the same thing that goes on here. So here we are assigning a variable. But this name is the parameter we are going to pass into our function. So you can see when I over on our keyword on the name, it's telling us a parameter. So that is what JavaScript does. That's what a function does actually. You need a parameter right there. So this bracket is actually replacing this function keyword right here. This bracket is actually replacing the function keyword. So that is what the function does. And this arrow key right here makes it explicit that yes, this is an arrow function. Do you understand, Francisca?
Very well, sir.
Yeah. Paul, your hand is raised. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's do food process. Sorry, I'm already making a mistake. Dami, go ahead while I type this.
To ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah,
if your network is breaking, can you just drop it in the chat box? Judge can always respond to that, please. So we do this, and yeah, we do a console.log. So let's now return it. You can see every JavaScript function needs to return a keyword. So let's do this. We do a const, because I don't want to pass the explicit for. I don't want to write a long console.log right here. So I just do this. Juice with apples and apples and so oranges. So yeah, what's going to be our return statement here is going to be the juice. So now let's save that and let's now call our food process. So we have, what are we passing right here? We are passing a number and 0. So let's see what we have. You can see we have, why is our juice not working? Why is our juice not working? Food process, why is it not working? Paul, your hand is raised, go ahead.
Okay, sir. I think the problem I was having is I've already let greeting in the first lecture yesterday. Last lecture, I've already assigned greeting to something else. Okay. So I was trying to call greeting again.
Okay. All right, that's fine. So we do this.
Console.log. Okay.
Yeah. So I have to. You can see when we are just assigning this, you can see that it's just telling us, okay, we have 5 oranges and 0. You can see the parameter they pass here is 5 and 0. That means 5 for orange, and 0 apple. So we now want to console.log the juice. So we now do something like this. Console.log. No, not console.log. Let me give it I don't want to be console.logging directly, so let's give it a variable. Let's do apple juice equals this. So let's now console.log apple juice. So let's see and see what we have. So you can see here now we have juice with five apple and 0 oranges. Sorry, who's that? Do you have any question? Sorry, is there any question? All right, no problem. So we can see that we actually made an apple juice, which is 5 oranges and 5 apples with 0 orange. So let's now also make an orange juice actually. So we'll do the same thing for an orange juice. So we just do const orange juice. Orange juice equals 2 apples and 20 oranges. So now let's console.log this right here. We do orange juice. Orange juice. So let's save it and see. So let's save this and see. ID. Go ahead. You can see juice with 2 apples and 20 oranges. So Adilaja, what's your confusion?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Adilaja, hold on. Adilaja, hold on. After ID, you go. Yeah, ID, go ahead.
Just a quick question. I want to confirm, what will happen if you don't use the return juice?
If it's going to actually work, it's going to work actually, but it's just a standard practice that every function have a return keyword. Actually, you can see here we have an undefined. We are trying to return this const. We are trying to return this const, but is returning undefined. But our function, your function has to return a keyword. It has to have this return keyword to return every, after it has performed the operation it has to do. It has to return. That was when I was telling was it Damilola, that when you are performing an action, you need a result, and your result is going to be saved inside this result keyword. And when you call the function outside, when you now call the function, then you are going to get the result of what you have called. You understand? ID.
Yes, I think I have.
That's what the return keyword does. Yeah, Adelaja, go ahead.
Sir, is from the beginning of this condument, what did you write, sir? Please go back to your code, sir.
Where there are condument.
Condument option. I mean, it's from the beginning of this const food price equals, instead of this apple and oranges, can't you put fruit there?
Yeah, I can put fruits. I can put fruits. And yeah, I'm going to have fruits here. So you can actually pass any name into it. Actually. Apple is not assigned. Apples are not assigned. Where is apples? Okay, yeah. So I have to change this one to fruits. Your parameter name does not mean anything. It's just like you declaring a variable. You can actually assign something to it anytime, at any point in time. So, do you understand, Adelaja?
No, I don't understand.
You don't understand? Okay, what don't you understand?
Go back to your code. Okay. I get it now.
Yeah, so you understand perfectly well now?
Yes, I do.
All right. So do we understand the way we call function and invoke a function? is there any confusion with functions?
Understand though, my network.
What don't you understand, Damila?
I'm sorry. Just hear me. The process. Don't.
Yeah, Damila, I can't hear you if you're saying anything. Damila. All right, no problem then.
Yeah, can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Damila. Go ahead.
All right, I said from the food process, like from this food process.
Your network has gone again, Damila. I can't hear you. Damila, I can't hear you if you're saying anything. No.
Process, like I kind of don't just.
I can't hear you. So
You can go on, sir. I will watch the video. The network is bad.
okay, all right. So does anyone have any question with functions and the like? So I don't overbore you with so many things with JavaScript because there's still a long way to go with JavaScript. So we have to talk about arrays, for loop, off loop, DOM manipulation, and the like. So is there still any question? I think you have to draw the curtain here since function is a lot. Francisca, go ahead.
I think my network is okay now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Damla, go ahead. Adela Jayan was raised. Go ahead. Adela Jayan was raised. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sir. I noticed that in front of this line 125, in front of this const juice equals, there's no bracket, unlike this where there's return in line 117
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I was doing a console.log on line 117. But yeah, I'm not doing a console.log. I'm just assigning the variable.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, so I think there's something that we want to. Let's do Josephine. Why do you like writing on my screen, Josephine? Let's do something called loop in JavaScript, the for loop in JavaScript. There's something called for loop. And what is for loop? A for loop simply means that you want to repeat something over and over again if the condition is true. If the condition is true, that means the loop is going to keep on running. So something like this. Let's do this. Let's do console.log.
Sir, please, can you shift this thing up?
Okay. So we want to do loop. Let me write something. This is for loop. So want to console log this. What should I write? What should I console log 10 times? I can't. Sorry, someone should just give me a function name. I can't hear anything. No function is coming to mind. Something we can repeat 10 times. An action we want to repeat 10 times. Okay. Press up. Press up one. Let me see. No. Press up. Press up. Let's press up to 10. We want to do press up 10 times. So let's do it. So normally this is what we are going to do. We are going to console log it 3 times. But what if we want to do 100 press up? Are we going to be console logging them like this? So there's something in JavaScript called for loop, which means that if your condition is true, if the condition is true, this function should keep running. So this is it. Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So it's going to be that, okay, for loop. What is the meaning of for loop? This loop should keep running when it is true. So we want to do press up 10 times. And we are going to do, okay, the for keyword come into play. And it's going to be for let push up equals 1. So we have push up less or equal to 10. Push up less equal to 10. No, I can't reassign this variable. So it's going to be push up count. Yeah, let me use push up count. I push up count. Equals or greater less or greater than 10. So do this. Oh. Who can tell me the error I'm actually having here? There's a bug here. I've spotted the bug. Who can tell me the bug I'm actually having here? Push up count.
Your arrow is pressing back.
No, I'm not using this thing here. I'm not using an arrow function here. What I did here was less than or equal to 10. The reason for this is simply because while you can't use a comma when you are writing a for loop. You have to use a semicolon. That means you are ending that operation. So you have to use a semicolon. So we now have to do this. So we just do console.log press up console.log press up 1. So you would see that, before this, let me comment this out and see what we have. You can see that we have on line 137, we actually did this 10 times. We console log 10 times, and let's see our browser and see what we have. You can see that from line 131, we are having this. We are having it that is console log on multiple lines. But let's check what we have on. Let's check what we have. Let's check what we have right here. So let's check what we have right here. So let's comment out this one out, and let's clear this, and let's see what we have. So let's see what we have. Push up count is not defined. Why is push up count not defined? Oh, push up count. So this was supposed to be push up count also. So you can see that we have push up 1 10 times, but this, we are not iterating it 10 times. So why we have to iterate this is that we now have to use a template literal right here, so that our push up can count one after the other. So let's do this. We do Control Z. Let me just do Control Z and I want to use a template literal. That is why, as you go on as a developer, you use template literal practically every time, because you have to assign your elements with something. you have to assign your elements over and over again. So you have to use a template literal to assign that. So let's check what we have. You can see that we console.log it 10 times, even without writing our console.log multiple times. The reason for this is because that at every point in time that each condition is met, it checks, okay, is the push-up count up to 100? Is it up to 10 rather? If it's less than 10, it keeps coming back over again. It keeps looping through it while the function is true. That's why I said the function is going to run. The function is going to run every time the condition is still true. So let's do it for 100. Let's check for 50. 100 might be too much. Let's check for 50. So what this says is that this function should keep running if we should actually do 50 push-up. Let me say we should actually do 50 push-up. So at every point we are doing push-up 1, push-up 2, push-up 3, we have to get to 50 before we can stop. That is what this simple for loop is doing. That okay, I want to do 50 push-up. By the time it gets to 50, just stop. So this is it. You can see that we have it calls console.log 50 times without us writing console.log over and over and over again. Do you understand? Do you understand the concept of for loop? Are you confused with the concept of for loop? Hello, can anyone hear me?
No, sir, we are not.
Yes, I can. Yes.
All right. So do you understand the concept of for loop? Do you understand the concept of for loop? There are actually 3 different kinds of loop. Yeah? Miriam, go ahead. Miriam, go ahead. Miriam, go ahead.
So that was a mistake, sir. Sorry.
All right. So that is what the for up loop does. It continues to console.log if the condition is still true. Okay, let me go back to the code. So what I simply wrote here is on line 137 to line 145, on line 146, we wanted to console.log press up 50 times. And we got to 10, we got tired. We keep writing console.log to 50. But in JavaScript, we have a function that can actually help us run something like that 50 times, which is we just do a for loop. It is called a for loop. And when the condition is still true, that means it's telling us that okay, you still have by the time you do one press up, you still have 49 to go. It keeps counting down like that, and by the time it's 50, by the time you have done 50 push-ups, 50 press-up, the program automatically terminates. That is what the for loop does. It's telling your function that okay, yes, I need 50 push-ups, and when the 50 push-ups is done, the next thing just terminates the application. That means I have completely done 50 push-ups. Do you understand? Do you understand the concept of for off loop?
For loop, yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. So there's also something called while loop. There's also something called while loop. And the while loop is also similar to this. And this is how you write a while loop. So while, let me write this at the top here. Let me write, so the first one was the for loop, while loop, and we do something like we do let press up equals 1. Okay, and you now have a while keyword. You know that when you are writing a for loop, you have the for keyword. When you are having a while when you want to write a while keyword, you use the while. Okay, you now have press up press up less than equals 50. We now do this console.log while let's just console.log this. Let's console.log this and put it here. So we're using press up. So we'll now do this. You're now going to increase it. That is press up plus plus. So let's check what we have right here. On line 157. Push up is not defined on line 156. Oh, sorry, I used push up instead of press up. Press up. So let's check this out. And you'll see that while our condition is still less than 50, it keeps loading. It keeps giving us while press up 1, press up 2, up to 50. And by the time it gets to 50, it stops. Do you guys understand the concept of while loop and for loop? Hello, do you guys understand that?
Yes, we do.
All right. So I was actually thinking that someone actually is supposed to ask a question while I was doing the for loop.
I have a question. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Josephine.
Okay, I wanted to ask, when do you choose to use for loop and while loop? When do you decide, like, oh, I think this case will be okay, I use for loop, or this case it will be okay, I use while loop?
Well, that is also something that comes back to I would say when you want to use a while loop, because it's been a while I used that. It just comes down to personal preference actually. Let me use that word personal preference because both of them are actually doing the same function. Actually, for the for loop is iterating 50 times. That means why this condition is true. And also for the while loop is also iterating. They are actually intertwined. You can actually use them differently. But you can just decide that okay, you want to use a for loop and you want to use a while loop. Is based on personal preference. Josephine, you can actually use them interchangeably. But that's not the question I actually wanted someone to ask. Can anyone look through this code? The for loop, there's something similar between both of them, which I did, and nobody asked that question. Should I assume that you understand? Should I assume that you understand that?
Sir,
yeah.
There's a question. I noticed that this press up plus plus is being put inside the bracket, inside this bracket, but here is outside standing alone.
Yeah, that's the difference between a while loop and a for loop. That's the difference. For a for loop, you have to write everything inside the bracket. But for a while loop, you have to write the addition outside the bracket. So who can tell me the meaning of this push up plus plus and press up plus plus? Who can tell me the meaning? That's actually the question I wanted someone to ask. What's the meaning of that plus plus?
Yes, what I understand. Okay, you move to the next, like +1.
Yeah, that's the simple meaning. That means instead of writing this +1, no. Instead of doing this, it's also the same thing as writing push up +1, push up plus plus. That is the meaning. All right. So I probably had an assumption that okay, you guys don't know it. Okay, you guys actually know it, so that's fine. So I think today we have come to the end of the class, and yeah, it's actually a lot. So please just go over the video and go back over the class and try to understand everything we did one after the other. JavaScript is a lot. Yes, JavaScript is a lot. But you just have to calm down and try to understand it perfectly well. So thank you very much. You do have a lovely day ahead. and have a wonderful weekend.